Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to be telling you about my new Openroad rooftop tent in this video, so if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned.
When I let you go, I just pull you closer. I can't understand where it came from, but you got it, I got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
Alright guys, so as I mentioned, I'm going to walk you around my Openroad rooftop tent. I'm going to show you as many of the features as I possibly can. I'm going to stay away from comparing it to the Naturnest right now because, again, I'm going to do a video at a later date where I will kind of do that. But this video is specifically just to tell you as much information as I can about the Openroad rooftop tent. Now, starting with what does it come with? So I obviously already have it mounted on my bed rack. A lot of the questions that I tend to get around my rooftop tents are, how did you mount it? So I'm just going to dive right into that. The hardware that's included with it is actually really nice, and I'm going to show you. They give you a whole bag, and it's like a zippable, reusable bag, so it's actually really nice. You could repurpose this for something else, but this is your hardware. When you get your tent, if you buy one of these, it's inside of the tent. So when you get the tent and you unbox it, generally you want to do that with the shipper there just to make sure that there's no damage or anything like that. The ladder is in the tent. This bag here, which has your poles for your awning in it, is in the tent. And then there's also an LED strip, which you can kind of see that white line up there. It's actually Velcroable, so you can move it from one side to the other. But the other thing that I like about it is it's replaceable. So unlike a lot of the other tents that just have an LED strip built in, if that ever burns out, you're just stuck, right? You don't have any options. With this, you could always just get a replacement LED strip and then Velcro it up there and you're good to go. So anyways, that comes in the tent, and then this hardware bag comes in the tent too. So I ended up using just these normal little attachment bars. But here's the cool thing. So you see these little slots here in the end of the channel for the rooftop tent. There's this aluminum piece that actually slides right in there. It fits right down in there. And then it's squared at the top so that this bolt that comes down through won't turn. With my old tent, I had to be concerned that the bolt was turning at the top, and so I had to get a wrench or something in there. I ended up using a flathead screwdriver just to hold that bolt so that it wouldn't turn. But on this, they've already thought of that, and they fixed that problem with this squared off aluminum piece in here so that it holds your bolt. And all you have to do is tighten up this nut on the bottom. Now I did use a 13 mil socket on this, so just FYI, that is a 13 mil, this nut here. But then I have an extrusion bed rack, and it comes with these mounts. So these are the proprietary extrusion mounts. You can basically move these to wherever the channel is on your rooftop tent, and then you tighten these bolts down there to hold it in place, and then you drop your bolt right down through there. Now I did have to take these off, right? I took these off, put the bolt up through it because it's pretty long, and then I attached this here, and then I tightened down the bolt. So just FYI, that's how it attaches. But then you also have other options. So let's unzip this bag here, and I'll show you what all comes with it. So then this piece here is actually an on-off switch for your lights. So it's got a proprietary end here that plugs into your LED switch, and then a USB-A on the other end. So you could hook this up to, something like a power bank here. You could do like a little tiny like pocket size portable power bank, but then you've just got a simple on-off switch here so that you can control your lights. Now in addition to that, you also get these pretty nice rubber-coated sort of U brackets. So these you could use, to mount it around sort of like a different type of bar. If you had like a really thin bed rack or something like that, you could use this and then attach that to the bottom of the rooftop tent to the channel, because you do have extra bolts in here. So you've got another 4 of these bolts, and this is what they look like outside. So as you can see here, they just fit right into that channel just like that. I want to point out that like you've got this full length of this thing that is holding that thing down. So again, rather than just one nut and bolt holding it down, you've got all the pressure spread across this whole aluminum piece that slides right in and out of there. So that makes it really easy to mount. So you've got 4 more of these. So again, if you use these U-shaped mounting points, you would need 8. In my instance, I only needed 4 because of those proprietary mounts. There's 2 on the front, 2 on the back. Then you also get a wrench here, which is a 13. So they do give you the tool that you need to tighten it. I used a socket because it was a little bit easier. Then you've got a couple of extra aluminum pieces in here. You've got an Allen wrench. So then they do have these little rubber end caps that you can put in there just to make it look a little bit nicer. So I will go around and I'll put those in here in a minute. And then you've got some extra bolts and nuts, just extra pieces, and then the additional rubber pieces. But again, you get this whole nice little bag, which I will probably repurpose, because now that this thing's on, I'm not touching it. It's not moving for a long time. So, but this is a nice little bag that you could use for, you know, any number of things. So that's just an added bonus that you get with it. But so that's what comes in the bag. Then you also get a very simple little manual that just sort of tells you, you know, here's what you should expect. Here's the things that come in this bag. It tells you how to mount the crossbars, which the crossbars do come mounted already, which I liked that, because on the old Naturnest, they didn't come pre-mounted, so you had to install them, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. But another thing that I really like about the crossbars is that they basically, you can see there's 4 Allen head nuts, and that's what that Allen wrench is for. But there's 4 Allen head nuts on there. You could loosen those up, and then you can slide the whole rack to wherever you want. So you could slide it more towards the top or the back, or more towards the front here. But so there's just a ton of ways to be flexible with it. And then as you can see, there are a series of holes. So there's basically 4 positions where you can mount these bars. And then you can use that to mount, for example, solar. So I'm going to be putting my solar panels up there. I'm actually upgrading to 200 watts of solar that will go up on top of there. So there will be a video probably showing how I installed that in the future. All right, so staying on this end here, you do get this really nice grab strap, which you can use to then pull the tent down. It's got this little plastic rubber handle on it so that it makes it easy on your hands and easy to pull down. One thing that I like is that this awning only requires 2 pulls. So you've got one here and one here, but the shape of it is very similar to my old Naturnest, and I like that a lot because it protects your side windows and this back window. But again, on the old Naturnest, you had to use 4 pulls. On this one, you only have to use 2. They're black coated. I like black stuff. I just think that it looks nicer. So they're kind of powder coated. They have a rubber end piece on them, and they actually go up into the awning. There's a little pocket up there in the middle of the awning. Another thing that I like about that versus other awnings is the other ones generally have grommets, but grommets tend to rip, they tend to tear out. In addition to that, the fact that the awning pole goes up through that thing means that water and snow and stuff can run down your pole, and then you've got water, you've got rust and everything down here. You've got the water running down from your awning instead of off the top. So with this style, they're actually under the awning. Everything runs off the top of the awning and won't run down your poles, which is a really nice design touch. All right, so now moving over here to the side, you can see what I mentioned earlier, which is that the awning does cover your side windows, which I love. I've had the other style where it just comes off the back, and I hate it because if it ever starts to rain or snow or anything is happening weather-wise, you can't even open your side windows. You can't even really vent your side windows if it's raining a lot or snowing a lot. With these awnings that go all the way around the side, though, it's so nice because you could have your window cracked, 4, 6, 8 inches at the top, and you don't have to worry about getting, moisture or rain, that sort of thing, inside of your tent. So I love that side awning sort of style. In addition to that, it's got this one big gas strut on each side, but then they've also got this really interesting like Z design hinges at the bottom down here. So here is the big selling point for me of this tent. Most of these tents are clamshell style, right? And so that top part there, the roof part, attaches to the bottom part. But then what that means is, for me as a 6'2" guy, my feet are crammed into a V shape at the bottom. So they're basically crammed into the bottom. In addition to that, because they're attached there, this can only go so high. Whereas with this, you can see this is really tall. So this frees you up a ton of extra headspace inside of there. So if you need to change clothes, or if you just want to sit up and like read a book or do something in there, it gives you way more room to move around in the tent, which you don't have as an option in the V-shaped regular old clamshell one. So I really like this additional hinge here, because then you've got this big flat part right here. So it gives you more foot room, and then it gives you more headroom throughout the rest of the tent too. Now another nice feature is they've got a window down here that is closable, so you can totally close that up, but if the weather's nice, you can open that, you can see out the back, you can get ventilation throughout the tent. So it's just, there's a lot of benefits to this style. Now basically the way that you operate this tent is you undo these 2 clasps here, and then you go around to the back and you undo 2 clasps on the back, and then you push the thing up. That's it. It just opens, simple as can be. Another thing that I really like is it has this big seal that goes all the way around. So when you close this, this actually goes down over this. So it not only does it have this sort of crush seal inside of here that squishes down on the aluminum there, but it also has this other seal that as you close it, it pushes out over the edge, so all the water runs off and doesn't go into the tent. Now I've had problems with leaking tents before, so I'm very sensitive to that, so I like this design and the way that they've done that, where it actually makes sure that the water sheds off the tent and will not go inside of it. Now, another thing that's really nice that I noticed that I believe is just a design choice, right, is these channels at the end. So these channels will allow you to mount things. You could put mounting nuts in there. You can move these things around where you've got your awning mounted, where you've got these sort of clasps and stuff. The ones in the middle are for a ladder, so you can put a ladder on the back, you can put it on this side, or you can put it on the other side. Now, I have my awning on the other side of my vehicle over there, so, you know, I go passenger side personally, but it's nice that you can move it around wherever you want it. Another really nice thing about the ladder is that it has this rubber coating over the edges, so it's basically like a sort of an L-shaped hook. And then it's rubber coated, so you're not putting metal on metal. You're not, you know, hearing it clink and clank as you walk up it. It also protects the metal and protects the top of the ladder, which is really nice. One more sort of unique thing that I did want to point out about this ladder is, unlike those sort of unwieldy and hard to use things that you push the like levers in with this, there's a really nice little easy button that you push up on the bottom. So basically you hold it at the side, push up on the button, and then the row above it falls down. So again, instead of having to push in those stupid buttons, which also get mud in them and get stuck and stuff, with this you just push these two together, which I can't do one-handed, but you push these two together and then the tier above it will fall down. So it makes it way easier to close this ladder. And I also think that it will probably prevent some of the issues that I've had with previous ladders in like freezing cold temps and things like that, because it's on the bottom, it's protected from like rain and stuff coming down to some degree, more so than the ones that are right here on the front that catch, you know, freezing rain and snow and stuff like that. I'm interested to see how that does in the cold temps. Now, I've thrown my shoe bag over top of it because I basically climb up to about here and then just kind of sit my butt down inside of it, and then I can put my shoes right here in the shoe bag, which I'm going to show you here in a second. But the way that the shoe bag mounts is with these little clips. So you can clip those to any place where you've got two of these bars like this. So basically any place where a ladder could go. So you could put your shoe bag here if you wanted to on the back, and then climb up through here and put your shoes out through there so that it's under the awning if you want. Now, the shoe bag is made of like waterproof tent type material, so, and it's actually really nice. It's got venting on the bottom, so if you put muddy or wet shoes in there, it can sort of drip out the bottom and they can dry off. In addition to that, inside of here, you've got a couple of vented pockets. So, you know, if you had wet hats or wet gloves or something like that, you've got space to put them in there. Then you've got another pocket back behind. So you've got this vented pocket on the front, then you've got another pocket back behind where you could put car keys or things like that. Also on the shoe bag here is this little long zip pocket. So again, if you had, I don't know, keys, a knife, something like that you wanted to throw in there, you could throw that right in there, zip it closed, and then it's going to keep that protected as well. So you've got that plus the two mesh pockets plus the two pockets behind that. So you've got plenty of storage in this thing aside from just your shoes, which is awesome. Then you put your waterproof thing down over the top and they clip in so that the wind's not going to pick it up. You're not going to have to worry about your shoes getting wet or anything like that. But I love that they have additional storage in there. These are actually useful and good quality shoe bags, which a lot of the cheaper tents just have literally the junkiest things that you've ever seen. You don't have a lot of options for mounting, so I really do like the shoe bag. So now climbing up here, I did want to point out, they do have, you know, the typical sort of elastic band around it that helps pull the tent material in when you close it, makes closing it easier. So, you know, when you're done, you're going to lift these up, you're going to put that on the tent so that it pulls in the fabric. But because these end pieces are all open, it makes it way easier to get that thing to seat down in there. On some of the other tents I've had, you never kind of know where to put them. They're getting hung up on stuff. But because these are so open, it's really easy to put that in there. Now, another nice thing that they do, and sorry, I've got all my bedding in here, but another nice thing that they do is they put this little bungee cord across the inside. So again, it's putting pressure on this and it's pulling the sides in so that when you go to close it, that pulls that fabric in. And I will say, when I close this thing, so I opened it and closed it the other day just as a test, it is very easy to get the fabric in here. And a lot of these tents, I know people have said, hey, how do you get the fabric in? It's always stuck, blah, blah, blah. But this is actually really, really easy to close because of this. And then, of course, when you're getting ready to sleep, you just undo these clips. You take that elastic thing off so that it's not in your way. Or you could leave it and use it to hang up clothes. I mean, there's multiple purposes that you could use that thing for. So then inside, too, you've got a really nice, about 1.5 inch mattress. So it's very similar to the Naturnest. And then you've also got an anti-condensation pad, which again is nice that that's included with the tent at this price point, because, you know, if you get condensation in there from your breathing at night, or if it's rainy and you've got humidity and stuff, then that is going to help you keep your mattress from getting wet, and it's going to help it evaporate quicker. Now over there you can see the LED strip. So there's basically a Velcro strip up there, and then there's another one over here on this side at the top, so you can put it on either side. But then at the bottom there is a cord, and then you plug that into that button that I showed you earlier, and then the USB-A into a power source, and then you've got light. Now, of course, on all three sides here, you've got these big windows with screens that you can zip up, and then inside of that, you've got a solid dark material surface. So this is going to keep the light out when it's bright sun in the morning and you want to sleep in. It's going to make it much easier to sleep. Of course, down here at the bottom, you've got that extra window. So same thing, you've got the fabric on the inside. If you want to open that up, then you would have a vented screen there, and you could even open that up if you want to open it all the way to the air. Now you're going to notice there's a zipper back there. What that tells me is that this canvas material is replaceable. So you could, if you ever got a rip in it or a burn mark or anything like that in your tent, you could replace it and you'd be able to keep running the same tent frame, but with new material. So if that ever happened, you do have that option, which is pretty nice. Another thing that I've noticed is on the awning here, and I'm going to ask them about this, there's zippers on this. So I'm not sure if you can buy some sort of like an awning room or an awning extension or something like that, but that's kind of interesting too. Now up top here you have this thing which is removable. It clips into these 4 points on the corners, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets, and you've got a clear one where you could put something like an iPad, for example. If your kids are getting bored and they want to come in here and sit and watch a show, they can lay down in the tent and they can watch something on an iPad up through that clear thing, which is a really nice feature. All right, guys, so that is the Openroad rooftop tent. I've had some of their winches. I've been really impressed with their products in the past. I still run their winch on my old truck, and I need to get one for the new truck here soon. But when I saw this rooftop tent after, sleeping multiple nights in my old one, I figured it was time for an upgrade. And this checks all the boxes for me. So again, I hope that was helpful for you. It kind of shows you a lot of the things that make this a really nice tent. And again, down the road, I will do a comparison between this and the Naturnest. So if you've been comparing the two, looking at the two, thinking about one or the other, I just want to give you all the info so you can make a decision whether it's worth a few $100 extra to get this one or if it's worth it to get the Naturnest. So that'll be a video that's coming in the future. But for now, hope that one was helpful, showing you all the features of this tent. Now, of course, if you have any questions or anything, post up in the comments down below. If the video was helpful, click that like button. That helps a ton. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button, to click the bell to be notified when new videos drop, because I do a ton of gear videos talking about features and benefits of gear. I share a lot of gear. I try and come up with unique ideas of things that maybe other people haven't used, or budget-minded stuff that maybe other people aren't talking about a lot, and share that with you. And then I also do like a once-a-week podcast type of deal / video on YouTube and on all podcast channels talking about overlanding in general, newbie tips, tricks, things like that. So if you're into camping, overlanding, off-roading, gear in general, this would be a good place for you to subscribe to, and I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Also below this video is a join button. That thing is kind of new on YouTube. Basically what it is just a really nice passive way to support the content that I make on this channel. No pressure whatsoever, but if you like the content, if you're enjoying it, and you want to kind of find a way to just passively support the channel, that's a good way to do it. And it also gets you early access to some of the videos before they come out. You get to see them, and you get some other perks as well. Also in the description below will be links to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. So if you're into that kind of stuff, there are some funny ones for everybody. Some with some inappropriate language in them, but most of them are pretty PG-13. So check those out. Then there's also a link to my Patreon group where we do a 24/7 Discord. We do a once-a-month call, and we're doing a couple trips every year. So if you want a more active way to support the channel and kind of engage with all things overlanding, that's a great way to do it. And then last but not least, there is the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Totally free to join. Tons of awesome members in there. If you're kind of tired of the bigger groups and everybody picking on each other and bullying each other, that may be a good place for you. If you want one of these for yourself, there will be a link in the description down below. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.